set Tithely apart from the competition.
Fast track you into
Christians have such a power
and have the tools
to change the world.
I think the biggest faith-building rally moment of our entire church was going from portable to getting in the building. And Tithely was a huge part of that. I mean, I literally had people, top-tier leaders, come to me after we got in the building and said, you know, Ben, when you presented the building to us, we thought, number one, it's never going to happen. Number two, he's crazy. When we were meeting at the theaters, I told our team, like, look, I don't want to move again unless it's a permanent facility. And I said, but then I don't want to move distance. So we were looking in that immediate area, but there's nothing. In 2018, we started fasting and praying for a building. About a month after that, we got a call from a broker saying, hey, there's a building available in Escondido. And I said, I'm not interested. And he was like, why? And I was like, because I told you, I don't want to move again. Like, if we're going to move, it's going to be permanent, but it's going to be in this, I don't want to move locations again. Then we do another time of specific prayer at the end of summer. And so we were praying. People were getting words. Hey, God's going to give us one. God's, this, that. I'm like, okay, cool. So we finish our time, literally the day after we finish our time of prayer, we get a phone call from the broker again. He said, hey, the building I called you about in March, it just fell out of escrow and the church needs to sell it. Are you guys interested? I look at my associate, I said, I told you I'm not interested. And my associate actually got a little irritated with me. He goes, we just got done praying twice in 1 year for a building and 2 times God has answered and you're saying no to it. And I was like, oh. And so I walk on and I'm like, there is no way. Number one, we can't afford it. Number two, it's going to take way too much work. And I'm talking with the broker and I looked at him and said, hey, would the church be willing to lease it to us? Like, I don't think we can afford it. And he talked through some scenarios and then he looks at me and he's a believer too, the broker. He goes, Ben, I think if you have just enough faith that you can get into this building. And it just hit me. And so I took it back to the board and the board was like, let's go for it. Well, what do we have to lose? And so, man, we took video, we took pictures, we presented on a Sunday morning and said, hey guys, if this is going to happen, we have 9 weeks to raise $250,000. And so we just went for it. And man, I mean, money just started coming in. To be able to have Tithely, not only as a giving platform, but just the way it syncs, the way it ports everything in, the way to be able to track that in that season was so important because there's still people tithing and we needed to keep operating the church. And so we need to be able to look and clearly see, no, this was building and this was tithe. This is going towards that 250. This is operational money. Even talking with some of the finance people that work on that end within our church, it just kind of put things at peace.
We started entering all of our cash and check giving into Tithely as well, and that's definitely helped to streamline our processes. Take advantage of a lot of the reporting capabilities. We use the dashboard around categories of first-time givers, regular givers, recurring givers, those types of things.
From going from portable to a permanent building felt surreal. I almost didn't believe it. It was like too good to be true because we were set up and tear down for so many years.
My wife and I were we led the setup and pack up team. So every week we're out there and we're setting up and tearing down. And then to be able to go from that into a permanent location where we can be ourselves, set up and not have to ever tear down again, it was awesome.
We knew God was moving. The giving process was just exciting because we were giving to what we knew God was doing.
We give through Tithely electronically, which makes it so easy for us. We click it, we texted it, and God does the rest.
I set up giving, but when it came to this big event, it was text give to 858-943-2221, and I would get that, and it would send me a link, and that's how I was giving.
To be a part of that and help financially and have the entire church come together, it was just, it's incredible.
So I feel like Tithely, because of who they are as people, can come alongside pastors in an effective way, where a lot of these giving platforms were just simply giving platforms for a myriad of companies and a myriad of things, and then they have their church side to it, where you actually have church guys that have a heart for the kingdom and really have the same mindset we do. The end result isn't a building. The end result isn't a program. The end result is what you see gathered on Sunday morning. When you see people lifting their hands and worshiping, when you see people coming forward saying yes to Jesus, when you see a marriage being restored right before your eyes, when you're praying for a couple that has never been able to, just think of some of the testimonies. When you think through couples that have never been able to have a child, and you pray for them, and then a month later they come and they're like, hey, we're pregnant. When you see people that are coming in for the very first time, and we have so many of them that are addicted to drugs and alcohol and sexual addiction, and they come forward and they respond in that moment, that we're able to do things here now that we have a facility that we were never able to do in a theater because of time restraints and because of politics and because of things that, but here there's this freedom, and now to see those people plugged into small groups and to see those people coming to church, to see those people now giving their own finances so that they can reach somebody else that was just like them. It's the fulfillment of a dream. And I think everybody needs those partners in their life to help fulfill that dream. And those testimonies at the end of the day are what makes it all gold.